You were born limitless, releasing learned limiting beliefs. So, you weren't born thinking you couldn't do something. Someone told you that, taught you that. You learned that from someone. So what would you be doing today if no one ever told you it was impossible? So during this audio, you're going to see how you were born limitless, and you can actually be limitless again. My name is Alex Morgan, and I help you align your actions, your beliefs, your dreams, and your thinking so that you can create success, and success is here, and you might as well be ready for it. And one of the easiest ways to be ready for it is to get rid of limiting beliefs that other people taught you. I mean, imagine when you were a child and you wanted something. Even when you wanted to drink milk, you wanted to eat. I mean, you just went for it. You didn't ask. You didn't hesitate. You didn't do something. I mean, have you ever been out to eat with someone now and they look at the menu for 10 minutes and they look at all the prices, they look at all the details, and they still can't make a decision? Where's the act of abundance? Where is them saying, I want this and I'm going to buy it because I deserve it? So this happens all the time. So you were actually born limitless. You were full of curiosity, and you had a willingness just to explore anything and experiment with anything. There was nothing that you thought you couldn't do. I mean, have you ever watched a baby just go around? They literally will get into anything, and they're so excited about it. They're not thinking, oh, what if I go in here? Is something going to happen? No. They go in full of curiosity, with confidence, and using their imagination. And over time, your environment, school, family, the media, they install limitations based on fear, lack, past experiences, and scarcity onto other people. So none of this is actually your fault. However, now that you're aware of it, if you don't do something about it, it is your fault. So the unconscious mind was walking around like a sponge, soaking up all these limitations and soaking up all the good things that were going on for you from ages 0 to 7. That's when everything is being imprinted on your mind. It's essentially the imprinting period. So you weren't questioning things as truth or not. You just absorbed either people being limitless or people with limitations around you. So if you think about it, there was a lot of programming going on. How many times did someone tell you, don't do that? No. How many times did they just tell you no, or don't do that, or you can't do that? Have you ever brought up, hey, I'm going to do something to a friend, I'm going to move, I'm going to do this. Oh, I don't know if you should do that. You shouldn't take big risks. You shouldn't do that. This person doesn't even realize most of the time that they're putting their limitations on you. So the more that you heard this, the unconscious mind, it needs repetition for a habit to be installed. And the emotion along with those beliefs, those are also stored in the unconscious mind. So when you have a repetition of that emotion and that belief, it's in your unconscious mind, and that's the program that you're actually operating on. It's quite fascinating, isn't it? So someone who's in school and people say certain things to them, they believe it. They believe it for whatever reason, because they also probably had those limitations already on them. And the more people tell us we can't do something when we're little, the more we start to believe it. So if you think about it, what's something that you always wanted to do, and you keep telling yourself you can't, or you don't have enough time, you don't have enough money, you don't have enough resources, you don't deserve it? And whose voice is in your head when you think of that limitation? Is it yours? Or is it someone else's? Is this a belief that you actually created? Ask yourself this. If you keep telling yourself, I can't do something, ask yourself, when did I decide to create this? Doesn't mean you specifically created it. It could have been someone else. And chances are that happened when you were from 0 to 7. So you can even pause for a moment, pause the video if you want, the audio, and reflect on this. So you can actually release these limitations. You can catch the limiting thought as soon as you hear it, and you can question it. You can ask yourself, when did I decide to create this? And that will tell you when this begun. And it's amazing how long some people have unconsciously accepted limitations until they ask themselves this question. When did I decide to create this? They don't even realize that they've had this limitation for so long. And if you want to start letting go of that limitation, you need to ask yourself, what can I learn from this limitation? And these learnings, they can be about yourself. They can be in the present moment and have them be positive. Not something like, I'm not going to do this anymore. I'm not going to limit myself anymore. The learning needs to be something like, I have limitless potential, or I'm confident in my potential. I'm confident in my ability to be limitless. Those are learnings now, positive in the present moment. And the more you do this, the more you learn, the more this becomes a habit. Remember, the unconscious mind, it needs repetition for a habit to be installed. So the more you learn, there's another question you can ask yourself, what can I do instead? And this will show your mind that you have new choices, new opportunities, and new possibilities. Because I was just speaking to someone the other day, and they were telling me that they've done different therapies and different stuff like this, and they feel that for their issue, they're not sure that that will work. I said, okay, great. Maybe you came to the right place. You're speaking to me. Let's see what we can do. And they said, I've tried to think about this problem and all this. And they brought up certain emotions. I said, look, I think you're in the right place for a few different reasons. First of all, you're consciously trying to solve your problem. And your problem, if we think about it, what I say, it was created by the unconscious mind, these limitations. So it's hard to get rid of it with a conscious mind. And when you get the learnings, these learnings are coming from your unconscious. I told them if it has to do with an emotion, we can release an emotion with the same questions I just gave. And they said, people like this, they feel stuck. This person was expressing this. And I thought, you know what? You're stuck because you're running the strategy in your mind of this emotion. This emotion is the program. The emotion is your focus, is your reality. So what if you were to think of something else instead? What could you do instead? Guess what? That gives them choice. Anything that I do with someone gives people more choices. Not so many choices to where they can't make a decision. Choices to see that they have other options. They can do plenty of other things. And how wonderful is that? If you had the ability to just do so many other things, accept your limitations. So think about that. It is time to be limitless again. So take action every single day. Give yourself new suggestions. That'll lead to new thoughts, new emotions, new focus, and a new reality where you can create your ideal future and predictable results. Really, the only thing between who you are and who you want to be is believing that it's more than possible. You're more than capable. You're more than confident. You're more than loved. All these things. So comment below, what's one limiting belief that you're just deciding to give yourself permission today to get rid of because you were taught this limitation and now it's time to believe something else because you have other choices. Thanks so much for listening. Definitely share this with someone who will benefit. If you haven't already, go ahead and like the audio and subscribe to the channel. I really appreciate everyone who's been subscribing lately. Thanks so much for listening, and I hope to see you on the next video or the next audio.